And then number 4 is this 5, and then it gets shorter, and I'm not quite sure why they did that. And this is almost an exact copy of the textbook, but I changed one sentence because it felt incomplete. But I'm having a difficult time. It's so long, it would be difficult to find that right now. But there's the original. I'll keep that there should we need it. Okay, let's see. We're recording. That's good. And let's see who's all here today. We have An, and you can join me as host. That's kind of fun. An gets to be the host. We have Anna Tran, thank you for coming. We have H. Genau, we have Min, we have Lien, and Tintin. Okay. Let's see. Somebody wrote a nice critique of this. It was Elvin, whose name is Kwang. He'll be here soon. Kwang wrote a nice feelings about the article. When he comes out, I'll join it. Let's see. Okay, so we're live streaming now. Let me just check the microphones here. Anna Tran, are you here?
Yeah.
Hello, how are you? How are you today?
I'm great, thanks.
Good, good. It got cold in Hiroshima again, but there are beautiful cherry blossoms and a special tree called magnolia tree that smells like perfume. It's wonderful. The magnolia tree. Let's see, we have Loy, Vuduk Loy. Are you there? Loy.
Yes, I'm here, teacher. It's nice to meet you.
How are you today? Good to be
fine,
with you.
thank you.
Did you have a good Sunday in Hanoi?
Yes, I stay in Hanoi, but it's quite busy, teacher.
Okay. Busy time, you say?
Yes, busy.
Okay.
Both times and work as well.
Okay. So end of March is a busy time. The students in another class were describing Hanoi's climate in spring and autumn, and these were their favorite seasons. It sounded very beautiful because it's a northern climate. It's not really like Ho Chi Minh City. It's a northern climate. So it sounded like the year that I lived in Taipei 2 years ago. It sounds like similar weather. Yeah. Hey, is Min here? It's Henry. Are you here? Henry.
You hear me?
Hey, Henry. I always make the same joke, that in French your name is Henri.
So, yeah. You know the player, right?
You're studying French too, though, right, Henry?
Yeah, I study in like a Australian school, so they learn French.
Okay. Is your accent good? It's a difficult accent.
Nah, I'm decent, but
decent.
Yeah.
Decent, yeah. Okay. I only know a little bit of French.
Bonjour, like stuff like that.
Yeah, bonjour. Well, there's a famous song, not famous song, but a song by a woman from Cape Verde, Africa, and she sings in French and Portuguese. And her accent is really strong, but I like to sing along with her. She says, petit pays means small country, je t'aime beaucoup. She says, little country, I love you so much. And she's talking about Cape Verde off of Africa. It's very romantic, very beautiful. So that's a good way for me to learn French, Henry.
Yeah, but I don't know that song, so.
Oh, yeah. I'll show you a picture of her sometime. She's an interesting person. Her name is Cesare Evora. She was very popular on Cape Verde as a female singer. She's this very big African woman. And she moved to Paris when she was maybe 40 or 50. And she became really famous in Paris because people didn't know her. And her singing voice was so beautiful. She's an interesting lady. Okay. Let's see. Hoang, are you here? We have Hoang. Okay, Hoang is there. None of trouble. Well, today I color coded the teaching notes for today because it was it's a little bit difficult to understand all the parts if I didn't add some color coding to them. So sorry if the colors are bright colors, but they're the best I could do for today's thing. It's on introductions. We're gonna focus on introductions here. And of course, I always enjoy when you help me by reading. So if you'd like to help me read this, this goes back to the nuclear essay. That's why I copied the whole nuclear essay, because it's used so much in the textbook. And also the prompt is also used again and again and again. So I wrote these notes here. I say, hello, everyone. Thanks for reading the long essay. Since the essay is long, I want to focus on the essay prompt that led to the essay and a small sample of the essay itself. This is just a quick review to include these key introduction words. I tried to keep the color codes all the same again and again and again. Blue is assess, red is discuss, sort of yellow, orange is make comparisons, and green is include. I noticed the textbook really stresses these again and again and again to really focus your evaluation skills, well, your essay writing skills. Hi, would you like to read this here?
Yes.
First.
First, the prompt. Many governments, for a variety of reasons, are seeking energy sources can have them curb their reliance on fossil fuels. Assess how much countries should rely on nuclear energy to help meet this goal and their energy needs. Be sure to discuss matters of concern regarding energy use, such as cost and environmental impact, and make comparisons among various energy sources. Regarding these, include statistics from a variety of sources to help support your position.
Yeah. So again, I've commented before, these four, 5 verbs, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. These are used again and again by professors for essays or for test exams. So this is why we're going over them again and again and again to really familiarize yourself with these, okay? So one part of the long essay on nuclear energy that uses all 4 of these prompts, this it helps with consistency in your presentation. So this is this part here. By the way, I wrote and so on because many of our young students are just using ... in their writing. And I think it's better to write and so on so the younger students can learn and so on, because just writing ... is not good in academic writing. And
Teacher, why can't you write etc.?
I could do etc. It's, yeah, that's a good choice. We could do etc. too if you'd like. There you go. You could do that too. And we're just trying to get away from this ... style, you see. I'll tell you what, Mr. Ann, would you like to read? I gave you these 4 beautiful colors. Can you read them? That sort of egg yellow is maybe a little difficult if I highlight it. So would you like to read the
Very
yellow,
of
the blue?
the potential risk of nuclear power. See a solution in harnessing the power of available natural sources such as wind or sunlight. Yet, while such renewable forms of energy has incredible potential and are recently seen increased investment and innovation, none of them have been shown to be able to produce an energy on a level anywhere close to that currently being consumed around the world.
And the blue.
Therefore, at least for the time being, despite fears for its safety, nuclear energy seems to be the only viable option for this satisfying demands. You get the fuck out of my room, bitch.
Hey, come on.
That's my sister, by the way. Satisfying the demands for an increasing energy-hungry world while limiting damage to the environment. One benefit of nuclear power is a much cleaner and safer energy source than fossil fuels. Nuclear energy emits virtually no environmental harmful carbon except for very harmful radon and harmful polonium. British
Okay.
Energy 2005 asserted that total CO2 emission from the Torrens nuclear reactor in Scotland is estimated to be just over 5 grams per kilowatt.
Oh, kilowatt hour. Did you
5 grams per kilowatt hour compared to 900 grams per kilowatt hour produced by coal plant, indeed research, and so on.
Yeah. Okay. So I color coded these. You see the making comparisons is that sort of egg yellow. The red here is discuss, very short discussion, by the way. Assess a little bit longer. And then green includes statistics, which sometimes just gets shortened to stats. Okay, stats are equal statistics. So some college students say, oh, I have to take stats for my senior year thesis. I have to take a course in stats. Hayan, did you have to study statistics or stats?
I'm trying right now.
Yeah, I tried a little bit. I thought it was interesting, but luckily my professor said I could do a qualitative essay where I didn't have to do the statistical analysis myself. And this came as a real relief to me. I didn't have to do a quantitative essay. But be careful, some of you may have to study stats. Are they interesting, Hayan, the stats?
Yes, it's interesting.
Yeah, there are so many dimensions to stats. Okay, any questions on our yellow, blue, red, and green that follow the assess, discuss, make comparisons, include? They match quite nicely. All right, let's see. Vudok, Loy, would you like to read the more introductory paragraph skills? It's the highlighted blue there, if you're here.
Yes.
Okay.
More in introductory paragraph skills. The introductory paragraph should introduce the essay topics and prepare readers for the contents of the essay. Therefore, there are certain things a writer should consider when making decisions about any introductory paragraph. The introductory paragraph can be written before or after the rest of the essay. In an important points of considerations because as you write the essays, and hopefully the research is turning up the new information that you find interesting. The one's feelings on topics may begin to change. At this point, you might feel that you are moving away from what you have written in the introduction. Please don't panic. It happens frequently in expositories or argumentative writing. The own feelings on the thesis begins to take on a different character. The whole process can actually be quite exciting.
Okay,
What
yeah,
is needed?
yeah, you can read more. I'll put that all here for you. There we go.
Yeah, what is needed then is to revisit the introduction, read it over a few times, and you feel that the introduction no longer supports what you have developed in the research and what you have begun to form in the supporting paragraphs. Then by all means, change the introductions accordingly so that it is consistent with the directions is moving in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so when I was working on my own thesis, the professor said, please don't worry about the introduction. As you write more and more, you will clarify your thesis. When we had to present our thesis, he said, this will change because as you do research, your point of view will probably change as you gather more statistics, more information, more perspectives. It's a process. If you're given 1 month to write a end of term paper, or about a full year in Europe for your master's thesis or doctoral dissertation, as you undergo the process, there's going to be a constant reworking of your introduction. So many students become really stressed about that introduction, that the thesis has to be perfect. And so the advice my professor gave to me was let the introduction, the thesis be a little bit more flexible. But the only thing I'll say about that is if you feel like your thesis is radically changing, then by all means, check in with your academic supervisor, your mentor, and say, I'm having this problem and the thesis is beginning to drift a little this way, and then discuss that with the person so that it doesn't come as a shock that you went completely in a different direction. And again, this means that your introduction is flexible. It will change. Okay. Let me ask, Hayan, are you in the process of writing your dissertation now?
Not dissertation, it's just my thesis because I'm in my master degree. But
Okay.
I have to write, I wrote the first part 30 pages, but then I'm changing the way. And then right now I have to write another part. So it's a little bit complicated and very stressful.
Very stressful, yeah. Do you feel the thesis has changed since you started out?
Yes, it changed. Before that, I wrote very broad, and then the more information I collect, the more I narrow my own topic, so it makes narrow down a little bit.
Yeah, the narrowing process too. Yeah, that's a really good point. You
Yeah.
start out and it might be too broad, too general, and then as you narrow down, it becomes a stronger thesis because the survey field is shortened. Yeah, that's a really excellent point, Hayan. The same thing happened to me as well. All right, let's see. Any more impressions on that? On how the introduction should be pretty flexible. Go easy on the introduction so it doesn't give you too much stress. I want to see if Mr. Tintin is here. Tintin, is your microphone working okay?
Now it's working.
Okay. How are you today in Germany, Tintin?
Fine, but a little cold.
Oh, a little cold also, yeah. Did the flowers come out?
Some blossom trees, but not
Oh,
much.
yeah. Yeah, the trees blossom first. We have beautiful magnolia trees in my neighborhood. Hey, Tintin, can you read a little bit for me if the microphone is
Yeah.
working? Okay, so Tintin, this is kind of long, but try this.
Writing an introduction before supporting paragraphs, no doubt, helps with logical order and specific contents of the essay stay focused. At the end of the essay, the writer can then go back, examine the essay, and look for areas where the following paragraphs perhaps raise some points or challenge some points in the introduction. On the other hand, many writers, myself included, occasionally write a series of paragraphs on a topic without having an introduction. This is challenging for some or easier for others. In my case, I began writing supporting paragraphs to see how they could relate to one another and see if a central theme or argument was developing. This process of writing without a set introduction was somewhat successful because it took away the stress of having a very clear, precise thesis. I merely began writing on what was of interest to me. Also, writing the introduction, trying to get it perfect, can be very stressful. If you find yourself stuck, then begin writing paragraphs based on your research, which also satisfy your curiosity on a topic. You can also begin to ask yourself, why did I choose this topic? Sometimes it's easy to forget such basic things like that when stress is encountered in your research and argumentation.
Yeah, the whole process, if you're writing a really long thesis, that's like 30 pages, 35 pages, it's easy to forget. You say, well, why did I choose this topic? In my case, I found myself going in the direction of a topic that I found very dissatisfying. It wasn't my original intent to write about that. And it was a very strange process, by the way, very stressful. Okay, Tintin, what do you think? Tintin, what's the longest paper you've written for your secondary school?
Few pages.
And how was the experience? Did it become stressful with introductions?
Yeah.
Now, did you have to go back and change the introduction?
Not much, no.
Okay. Now, did the teacher offer you good support?
Yeah.
Okay, good, good. And that, what was the subject? I'm curious. What did you write about, Tintin?
Of course, it was about the coronavirus.
Oh, okay, coronavirus. Yeah, it's gathering a lot of essays by students. Okay, quickly here, everybody. What to include in your introductory paragraph? A background on the topic, the writer's thesis. It's your thesis. A motive for the essay. This is interesting. This gets back to the question of why did I choose this topic? What is your motive? What are you trying to demonstrate in your essay? And this I really struggled with because my topic was very, the word is ambiguous, ambiguous and contentious. And as I started to write, I became, what would it be the word? Not resentful, but disappointed because I could have chosen a different area, geography, to do my thesis on. And I kind of made a mistake. So I had to stay with my original topic. And it's a very contentious area of social sciences. Okay, so number one, background on the topic. This is here. And this is what I want to break down even further. It's the suitable background information, such as a history of the topic, the current situation regarding the topic, different perspectives on the topic, definition of key terms, and statistics. Again, I color-coded these for you. A and B share the red because in this sample here, the writer put all of this together. He put together a history of the topic and the current situation regarding the topic. So that's all pushed together as one thing. Let's see, is Anna Tron here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Anna, would you like to read all of this? It's, start here and it goes to there.
Okay. Here's a sample introductory paragraph with all of the above points for a good, solid background on a topic. Keyword demographers. Demographers predicts that the world's population will reach 9 billion people by the middle of the 21st century. Competition for sacred resources will certainly intensify as a result, with one resource of particular concern, food. The United Nations reports that close to 1 billion people are suffering from chronic hunger. As the population continues to grow, this figure is sure to increase, so the attempts are being made to meet the demand through more industrialized food production, which aims for higher and quicker yields of current food sources. However, industrialization usually requires vast amounts of resources and produces large quantities of greenhouse gases, leading to concerns over the environmental sustainability of agricultural industrialization. Therefore, the challenge is not only how to feed the bulging population, but how to do so sustainably. Perhaps the answer lies not in trying to produce higher yields of current food sources, but instead in finding alternative food sources. One possible solution, then, is entomophagy, the scientific term for eating insects. Research has shown that insects have several major advantages as a food source in terms of nutrition, cost, safety, and environmental impact. Of course, it can be argued that the perception of insects as disgusting pests means that they will never be considered as a source of food in many countries. Yet attempts should be made to change this negative perception. Entomophagy offers a realistic and sustainable food source in a world where population increase shows no signs of abating.
Very good. Excellent reading. Nice. So the book chose a rather shocking, eating insects. It makes it sound like people are eating them directly. I've seen information on this. What it means is they take the dried insects and they make protein powder out of them. So you would hardly know you're actually eating insects. So, the book just wanted to use a shocking example to make this interesting for students. Did you notice the color codes, the red, the green, the purple, the blue? In your introduction, all of these can change positions. That's the one thing about introductions. They're rather flexible. So if you see E as statistics, it's the last in our list, but the writer actually started with blue for demographers. Actually it's demographers. And I put that in Vietnamese just because it's a somewhat obscure word, demographers. Now, this is interesting because many students tell me they do not like geography, but they have to learn it in primary and secondary school in Vietnam. But demographers are a really important part of geography. I love geography, by the way, so I'm always surprised when I hear that the students don't like it as a subject. Okay, scarce resources, resource scarcity. And then we have a comment here by Anne. He wrote, chronic hunger is a nice way of saying too broke to get food. Very good, Anne. That is absolutely right, because my research was about how wealthy countries have at least 2 to 3 years to sustain through what is called a famine, and poor countries do not. And it comes down to what your statement says. It's a nice way to say you're too broke to get food. Very nice, Anne. Thank you for your contribution. Okay, next one was red. again, the book pushed the red together. It should be a history of the topic with the current situation. The essay writers decided to make one big paragraph and like push that, squeeze that all together. It's not bad. And then finally, purple, definition of the key terms, nutrition, cost, safety, environment. Those are your key terms. We're going to talk about nutrition, cost, safety, environmental impact, and different perspectives on the topic. And that's where they say, you know, of course, eating insects might be considered quite disgusting. All right. So let's return to the long essay sample on nuclear energy. Here is the introduction again. Can you find the various parts of a suitable background in this sample? I will color code it for you as you find the terms. So we're looking again for a history of the topic, the current situation, different perspectives, definition of key terms, and statistics. And if you remember, this is one paragraph starting here to here. And this is from the reading. And it's just one paragraph from the nuclear energy essay. So help me find these together, everybody. If you want, you could use the raise your hand function, and then you can find that if somebody can find the history of the topic, the current situation, the different perspectives on this topic, the key definition of terms, and statistics. Let's go to Mr. N. And can you find me a history of the topic in this sample paragraph?
Yeah, our ancestors lived as recently as 100 years ago had marveled at how much energy is used now and taken for granted.
Beautiful, you got it. I'm going to color wait. I'm going to color code it red there for you, Mister. And we'll
No, but I actually wrote about this, and it's basically about bad coal, good renewable energy, and like that. And then at the end, I wrote a counter defense for the fossil fuels that developing countries can't transition from new renewable energy. So I actually know about this stuff.
Okay. Soft coal versus the hard coal versus the wealth to provide good scrubbers in the energy plants and factories. They don't have the money to pay for that technology. Again, it's cost. Everything is cost. Nice work, Anne. Now listen, the current situation, because Anne got the ancestors. How about the current situation? Lian Le, can you find the current situation? It's also a red color.
However, at the worst, population has surpassed 7 billion, and a growing population, to crucial task.
Wonderful, you got it. You guys are good. But then you guys are teachers and grad students, so of course you're good. All right, let's see. Want to go to our different perspectives on the topic, and I'll move this up a little bit here because we have one more thing there. Let me call on someone who'd like, hey, Ellis, are you there? I haven't heard from Ellis today. Ms. Ellis, are you here? Hey, Ellis, can you find this green one called Different Perspectives on the Topic of Nuclear Energy? And I'll give you a hint, Ellis, it's in here. And this was used in our lesson about 3 weeks ago. Remember, we were using hedging words. We don't want to say everyone. We want to change that a little bit to many or a majority of the people believe. Do you see that now? I gave you a big hint, Alice.
Is it in the many belief?
Yeah, that's it, Alice. You got it. Many believe it's a perspective, a different perspective. Many believe that increasing the reliance on nuclear power, a relatively clean, cheap, reliable form of energy, is the answer. So, Alice, nice work. We can go to green on that one there. That's a perspective. Okay, now we need a definition of key terms. Let's go to Voodoo Gloy. Can you find the definition of terms, the purpling of this? Definition of key terms.
Definitions of
yeah, the definition of terms, key terms, important terms that we'll need for our discussion of nuclear energy.
Yes, it is the new energies, more clean and cheaper.
Hmm.
Um, that is nuclear and energies.
Hmm.
Yes, and
Let's see. These are stats, so I won't go to the stats. And by the way, I just gave you guys the answer for statistics. Solution harnessing,
renewable.
yeah, renewable forms of energy.
Renewable form of energy. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good for defining a term right there. Good. Okay, now this question's kind of easy. I gave you the answer. Sorry about that. But the statistics, putting statistics in your introduction, we can go here. There's some wonderful stats. The short name stats, and that goes to blue for statistics. Good. Okay, and let's see what's left over. Not much. We got the main four, 2 reds, 1 green, 5 actually. We got our 5 key terms. All right, you did that rather fast. That's nice. Okay, so I will put this here to start a new discussion. So I'll put that here. And let's see, is anyone working on an introduction now that you would like to share? Like Hyan, would you like to share an introduction? We can put it in right here, and then we can find, statistics and things like that. I mean, would it fit?
I currently don't write the introduction because I am struggling with. I try to write all the whole part first, and then I write the introduction later.
I'm sorry.
Because
Yeah.
my topic get narrowed down, so I
Yeah.
think it would better to write all my body graph first.
Yeah. See,
But
that's you're following what
yeah,
I did as well.
but currently I attend a course. It's called writing a grant proposal, and then they taught about how to write introduction with a pyramid principle. That we have to put a core sentence in advance rather than another writing. For example, for research paper, we have to write historical context first and then core sentence at the end of the paragraph. But in grant writing, we have to put a core sentence in the first like the first sentence of the paragraph to grab the reader attention.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah, you're using the hook.
Yes, the hook, yeah.
Yeah, the hook is in the green book, book number 1. I just taught that last week to the academic writing 3. You guys, quickly, this is a good review. Hyan just said the hook. Grab the reader's attention. Have you heard that before, anyone? The hook. Grab the reader's attention with a hook. Here, let me show you a quick sample. I'll stop this here and I'll go into Zalo, and it is the homework was to write a nice hook for the students. Oh yes, this is wonderful. Here, I'll share the screen. Hopefully it won't do something strange. Sometimes when I share Zalo, it knocks me out of this. So is that okay, everybody? I'm still here with you. Okay. So this is by a young writer, Bone. He's actually a really wonderful writer. He's only like 10 years old or 11. He's a primary student. And hey, Mr. An, would you like to read what Bone wrote about
This is
gaming?
literally the English version of what we write in nghị luận văn học every day at school. So
Is it
yeah.
interesting for you, Mr. An?
No, it is boring.
Well, go ahead,
Gaming
read
isn't
it.
just a hobby, it's an entire world where we get to live out different lives, conquer challenges, and master new skills. Whether we are exploring big open worlds, solving different puzzles, or battling it out with intense competitions, offering a chance to develop new skills. Additionally, we get to play with our friends, having a fun time with everyone in a computer environment that you will stick your face into for 9 hours a day. However, gaming only helps if we give it a limit. It will be much harder to concentrate and work and rest our brains. This can also cause serious troubles in the future. So next time we dive into a game, remember it's more just than pressing buttons. It's about developing new skills and interacting with the outer world, one level at a time. However, we will spend time with it correctly and set limits to not overcome other tasks. And also, don't stick your face into the computer 9 times a day.
All right, Mr. Ant, do you like Bones' hook? I thought it was effective. No. Can you write a better hook? All right, there's your challenge. And you must write a better hook. All right. I think it's a pretty good hook. The only
I could
advice,
freestyle one right now. Renewable energy is not just about energy that can rest forever. It's an entire thing that you can use for the entirety of your life. Well, why don't we be able to use that energy? That's because you are a failure and you should go kill.
No. See, no, you couldn't put that in academic writing, Mr. Ann, because it becomes much too critical saying because you're a failure, blah, blah, blah. The professor says, no, back to a formal academic discussion, right? So I would caution you against using that approach. All right. Let's see. I want to call on someone. Hoang, are you here? We have to give Hoang a chance to participate or join us. Okay. How about Min? Henry Min, are you here? Min.
Yeah.
Min, can I ask you about your essay writing? You're a secondary school student or university level?
Wait, I'm grade 9, so secondary.
Okay, secondary. And what's the longest piece of writing you've had to write?
Longest one.
Yeah.
I think it's about 3 pages.
Okay, it's standard. And how did you feel about the introduction?
Like my introduction or what?
The one you were working with, did you find it an easy task or more difficult?
I think my introduction was the most challenging one.
Okay, most challenging part of the essay?
Yeah.
Okay. And did you find yourself changing it as you wrote the paper?
I think I did, because you know the introduction is like the part, like I don't know what to call it, but you need it for your essay. Like you need introduction for a good essay, so brings my essay down a lot.
Oh, the teacher wasn't happy with your introduction?
Yeah.
Wow. What was the topic on?
My
Min, what was
topic
your,
was on like genetic like engineering.
Oh, nice.
So you
And
know
did you have
genetic engineering, right?
Yeah, sure. Did you have any statistics in your introduction?
Yeah, I did research a lot.
Okay,
Okay.
very nice. And let's go through the list. This is interesting, Min. Min, did you put a little bit of the history in the introduction?
Yeah, I did, because I did talk about like the one who invented the genetic engineering
Yeah.
was a Chinese guy. So yeah.
Okay. And did you put some key terms in that introduction?
I think I did some
Yeah.
of my point in my essay.
Yeah. And then statistics, were there any statistics on genetic engineering?
I did, but on my body paragraph. So
okay, they were in the body. Okay, interesting. That's pretty good for a secondary student, even though here, I'll write it out here, Henry. The statistics to be used were not in the introduction, but were used in the body paragraphs or support paragraphs. So yeah, Henry, if you can get one important point from this writing course we're taking is, I would say try to throw in a statistic that can also work as a hook. Again, that hook is that interesting thing that invites the reader to become interested in your writing. And if we go back to the sample essay here, where the writing started right from the start, this 9 billion people is kind of a shocking number. And that's a statistic that goes right into the hook here. So, you know, this is a good model to follow, I would say, Henry.
Because the way
What do
my
you-
teacher taught me,
Yeah.
like you should not use a statistic for your hook.
Oh, how interesting. Is that a foreign or Vietnamese teacher?
No, he's American.
Huh.
I was learning critical writing, so yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's interesting to me because it runs contrary to what we're seeing in our textbook that we're using for this course, Henry. Did
Yeah,
he
I
give
don't
a
know.
reason? Did he give a
'Cause he's
reason for that?
yeah, he did.
What was his reason?
Oh, he told me that like your introduction should be
Yeah.
general. It should
Okay.
not say any like
Ah,
specific
yeah.
information. So
Yeah.
like you should not use a statistic.
Ah,
So yeah, he told me that.
okay. This is interesting, man. Yeah, I've heard this before when I was in secondary school. But I thought by the university level and master's thesis writing that this changed, that it's okay to be quite specific. Let's go to Hai An to ask about that. Hai An, do you think it's okay to be a bit specific in your
Yes, my teacher said that I should not try to write anything general because if I want to write something, I have to put statistic there, and then I can we have another paragraph that where you put statistic and with a photo, with
okay?
like with a photo or maps to show the statistic to grab the reader first. Otherwise,
Yeah,
otherwise
yeah.
our work will be too general.
Yeah, see, so you know, Henry, this is interesting. I would say for the secondary school, stay with your teacher's advice, but in university, you know, discuss this with your teacher, that it might be, you know, that you would like to get a little bit more specific in your introduction and see what they say, Henry, because it might be a change of perspective. Yeah. All right. This is quite interesting. Thank you for sharing Hai An and also for Henry. All right. Let's ask Anna Tran. Anna Tran, are you there? This
Yes,
is
I'm here.
interesting. So we have this discussion question. In your introduction, should you be specific with a little bit of data, statistics, or should you be general, save the really good stuff for the body paragraphs?
Hello, are you able to hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think it's an interesting question because I had this question for the longest time. Yeah, I also think sometimes being too specific in the introduction will limit your like the way you can like it will I think it will weaken your points in the body paragraph because because the main statistics and the data and everything should be supported, should be they should support your points in each paragraph. So I think it should be safe in the body paragraphs. But I would say that I find some essays that they introduce statistic right away in the introduction. And I think some of them are really effective. So I think it's really, and I think it depends.
Nice. Great response, because this is a nice compromise in this discussion. How about a quick, effective statistic that grabs the reader's attention? And I'll say as a statement. It can work. It really can work. So these are things to think about. Ha ha ha. Really interesting, everyone. I really like that discussion. Let's ask Lian Le. Are you there, Lian?
Um,
Lian,
or
what about this introduction? Should you save the data for the main body paragraphs, or should you throw out just one spicy bit of data or stat to grab the reader's attention?
so from my personal experience, I have no training on how to write paragraph in the past, but I think it like for the static, should do it for like supporting idea. I haven't tried to do academic writing in the past.
Yeah.
So
You're a teacher though, right? Yeah.
I am a BME teacher, and
If a student used, I just highlighted 9 billion people, do you think it's just a small number? It doesn't get into really small details,
yeah, in this case, it does get the attention from the reader. It's very general information. Even the number is very detailed, but the number provided in the introduction, it does get the reader attention.
Yeah. The popular YouTube as like an entertainment information resource, they use those shocking headlines to grab your attention. So I have a favorite YouTube person I like to write because I think she's quite funny, and she does presentations about China, but she doesn't live in China. And one of her shocking titles the other day was, China really only has 300 million people. I thought that was quite shocking. And she said the government hasn't been telling the truth, that there are only 300 million people. So that it's not 1.2 billion.
That's not a hook. That's just misinformation.
Well, this is the point. I'm kind of curious, Anne, to send you the link to this lady.
That's like saying I scam people for $1,000 and then saying I only borrowed $1 from him. That's kind of like misinformation.
That's misinformation. All right, Anne, I'll try to post the link in the chat of this woman. By the way, we can't go to YouTube videos during the lesson because there's a copyright thing between Zoom and YouTube doesn't like, since Google is their owner, they don't want that used in Zoom. So that's why we never use it in our Zoom lesson. Sorry about that. Some boys want to show me some super great thing on Roblox. I said, no, you cannot do that, because it's a copyright problem. Lian, I'm sorry, what were you going to say?
I think it when someone, like a lot of journalists, they use that kind of headline to get people attention. Shocking information.
Yeah, do you think even respected journalists use that, a little bit of a shock? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, be careful with the shocking headlines. That's very good. And then again, do we use these in academics? I don't know. I don't know if it's such a good idea to use such a shocking headline. In my master's program, the professor said, don't become overly argumentative. He's come across essays where the person writing the dissertation or thesis becomes upset about issues to the point where they become too forceful in their argumentation. So his advice to us was, don't become too forceful in your argumentation. And this is quite interesting. So if you describe this process here, okay, so that's the best advice I could give you. By the way, looking at these, the assess, discuss, make comparisons, include is a little bit ambiguous, then if we go further here, then you can see it's actually should be include statistics is the better way to phrase that. Because if we leave just include here by itself, it doesn't really say much. You say like include statistics. Hi, An, you said you included a data graph, I think in the Corona. Was that Anna Tran or Hi An who did that?
Anna Chan.
Yeah, Anna Tran did the statistical graph in her Corona thing. It's in another folder, but I thought that was really effective to show those Corona statistics. Okay, nice work. And so I'm happy that you students have a good understanding of this. Okay, any questions? Because I'm getting ready to describe the homework to you. All right. For
No,
the homework. All
but
right.
I just sent a photo in the chat because I just look on YouTube and then they give me a really structured way how to write an introduction. Like you
Okay.
like you write it, like for example for the important topic you want to write 200 words, and then you can just write it in 200 words or 300 words so that you don't overly describe one topic, and then this structure work quite well for
Oh, so okay. So everyone, can you see that in chat? Hyan just took this from the textbook we're using, and it's a guideline on what your word count should be. Because Henry, last week or 2 weeks ago, you asked about word count on that essay on nuclear energy, and I told you that it comes out to about 650 to 750. So these are the actual word counts, suggested length of 500 to 1,000 words. This would be about a 4 or 5 page paper with double spacing. And can you save this, everyone? If you see Hyan's file here, please save this, download this. You can download this onto your hard drive. I have it in my textbook, but she's doing you guys a really good favor by including this here. So introduction is 5 to 100 words. It's quite a long introduction, don't you think, Hyan?
Yes, I think it's too long. It's just for like when you want to write an introduction, you have to write it longer, and then when you have narrowed down your topic, you can delete it later.
Okay. So it's okay to go over 500 to 1,000 words, and then this will be narrowed down to, let's say, maybe 200 to 300 word introduction.
Yeah.
Just so you get every point in you can imagine. All right. Let's see what they have. We have the section, introduction, importance of the topic, definition of key concepts. Yeah. Brief review. Goodness me, the literature review. We haven't even gotten to that yet. And that literature review, it can be really challenging for some students. I know it was challenging for me. The main results and contributions of the paper. Okay. I'm laughing at that literature review because when I was doing my research on resource scarcity in the Middle East, there was one author I really didn't like. I just thought his research was dishonest and he was very controversial. And so I was trying to get around him without mentioning him because I really dislike his research. I think it's just really, like Anne was saying, it's misinformation, teacher. It really is misinformation. He uses the term, do you know the term, have you heard this in your studies, straw manning? Straw manning is when
I do.
You know it.
I research psychology.
Okay,
and
so yeah,
straw man is like a big old liar. That's basically an influencer. You know James Tour?
yeah.
He's a biology. Yeah, so he basically preaches about Jesus creating animals, something like that.
So what straw manning, what you do is you're in a debate and straw manning is you're in a debate and you accuse the person that you are debating about a stance that they did not make. And you say, oh, he's straw manning that. You're creating a fake argument that your opponent never made. And so the researcher I had was doing that a lot. He was making false accusations against 3 top researchers. And this researcher rose to the top level of Google citations on people. And I just didn't think that was fair. So it was my challenge. I had to work around his research. And I used other researchers who had much more valid criticisms of resource scarcity in the Middle East. And I explained that to my professor. I felt that their research I was more comfortable with because it was much more honest research. So I stayed with them. They had better data, better statistics. It's a very difficult thing I'm describing. I'll describe it to you. Maybe I'll even show it to you some before class. By the way, today is class number 8. So we have 9 and 10 next week. So for homework, can you write an introduction? It can be on any topic you're interested in. And the only thing I want to suggest about this homework is if you could include these in your introduction. So I'll put them here, copy them here. And these are the guidelines. And write an introduction and try to put the history of your topic in, the current situation, a different perspective on the topic, and a definition of key terms and statistics. Now, normally with the younger students, we write like 7 to 8 sentence introductions, but if we go back to the sample, it's quite long. It's quite a long sample introduction here. This is more for like a thesis. Hi-Ann, you have a question?
Miss Duke said that today is our lecture number 6, not number 8.
Oh, it's number 6. Wonderful. Okay, that's good. So we have 7, 8, 9. Good. That's a relief to hear. We have 7, 8, 9, 10. Nice. Okay, because then we have some really interesting topics to cover. Thanks, Hyan. So do you see this is quite an introduction. I'm not sure how many sentences there are. Could you write one about this length, a little bit longer for an introduction? And imagine you're writing a full thesis and give us an introduction on whatever you are interested in. This one, of course, was on eating insects as powder, right? Okay. Just by the way, final word on this eating insects for powder. And Anne said, teacher, we have to be honest, we're already doing that in Vietnam. Is that correct? Okay, so locust, let me show you why this is interesting. And we'll look at Africa, just a quick picture here. And in terms of eating insects as protein, yeah, I say if they make it into a powder that you can't recognize, maybe it's okay. But these are the great locust swarms of, this is in Argentina. This is the swarm coming down on a field. This is what they look like. But if you were to capture these and turn them into powder in place like Africa, you grind the protein from the insects into baking flour, and then you can actually eat this as a protein source. Anne is laughing. Anne, what's your reaction to this? Disgusting or a good alternative, Mr. Anne? Yeah, likes it. You just like the shock value of it? All right. Let's ask Vuduk Loy, turning the locust into a protein source. Interesting idea or just disgusting? Don't want to do it?
No idea.
No idea. It's an honest answer. I guess what it comes down to is, would you eat it? Would you eat them if you were presented this? My teacher went to Africa and he was offered these locusts. He said they taste like honey and potato chips if you just eat them. They taste sweet like honey, and he had to eat them because he was offered them by a village chief who said, you know, you offer people these to eat.
Wow.
Yeah. By the way, Anne, what was the one you eat in Vietnam, Anne? You said there's one you eat in Vietnam. You put it in chat. You said, let's be honest, we eat this in Vietnam. What is that?
Oh, yeah, they're called sandworms. Not the one you find in Dune, however. They're just sandworms.
Oh my gosh. Sandworms. Okay.
Sandworms in Vietnam. You just search that up. You have to include Vietnam, or you will literally find every single Dune wiki on Earth in there.
Okay, so here we have sandworms in Vietnam. Okay, so
those are sandworms. You farm them in sand, and they are actually very disgusting. I am Vietnamese, and I do not like that.
Okay, it's made into an omelet.
I don't find them disgusting by looks. I find them disgusting by taste.
What region is it? Is it a regional food like north, south,
no,
middle?
It's literally found in Hanoi.
In Hanoi. Okay, it's a
Mm.
northern
In
food
the capital.
in the capital. Okay, here she is making her omelets. I don't
Terrible.
know. Voodoo Chloe, have you tried this?
No. So, yeah.
No. This
This
is in a
food
flour.
is
I
my
don't like.
family traditional food. I don't
Min,
know.
you've eaten this, Min?
Yeah,
Okay, and the taste?
I don't know. It tastes a bit just like some. I don't know,
It tastes
but
like it has MSG in it, like tons of MSG in it.
Did they put the MSG to make it tastier?
No, it just has a bunch of protein in there.
Yeah,
yeah,
see, I think that's probably because I don't even have to tell you because you know your history. Vietnam had some terrible famines, and so you have to eat something. So the protein, I say that because my family is Irish, and the Irish people lost their potatoes. They had to eat grass. And so they have these stories of people with green mouths because they ate grass to stay alive. And 1 million people died of sickness and hunger. So I'm very sensitive to famine. In my family, we could never throw away food because the Irish in the family. And I think it must be like that in Vietnamese families. You don't waste food, you don't play with food, right?
yeah.
DJ,
I
can
think
you
it's
speak Gaelic?
I can a little bit, just a little bit. You know, my name, Brendan McGowan, is Gaelic, Anne.
Yes.
And you know what my name means, McGowan? You know what it means, Anne? It means smith. It just means someone who works with metal. I'm just a common smith. Okay. All right. Any questions about the homework and introduction? Any topic you like, but try to put a little statistics in there. Try to put a little hook in there if you can. Give a little history on your topic. And I look forward to your results because you have many interesting things to write about. Okay. All right. So I have to get ready for writing academic 3.
Hi,
Part.
Mr. Brandon, can I have a question?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Your guideline on the introduction was very helpful for me, but I have a question. For example, for my for the last week prompts, I had a prompt on online shopping and physical shopping. And I want to write an argumentative essay on that, but I wonder if um, I should include the history of the topic in that essay because I feel like the it could be inappropriate and irrelevant to the argument in my prompt.
Oh, what an
Yeah.
interesting dilemma, Anna. Physical versus online shopping?
Yeah, I think the history of the topic is important, but I wonder if it's essential for every topic because some topics can be, for example, my topic, I think introduce the history of shopping could be too broad and too irrelevant to my essay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you narrowed it down to like traditional marketplace shopping versus online shopping as a way to narrow the topic down?
Mhm.
Because then it's a comparative contrast essay.
Yeah, it's a comparison essay.
Now, do you want to write just the introduction of it, or would you like to expand that to 3 to 5 pages?
I want to expand that.
That's fine. Anne gave me one on military history that I liked, so it's perfectly okay to expand that. Yeah, if you want to go longer, by all means do, because your writing is very clear and it's interesting for me to read them. It's not a problem if you want to go long on your responses. Okay. All right. I hope I answered your question, Anna. It's all right. Don't worry about irrelevant, put as much in there if you want to talk about traditional marketplace shopping. And then when I look at it, I can offer you suggestions,
Okay, thank you. I'll try.
Okay, thanks, Anna. If you have time. Okay. And if you have time, go longer. You don't have to go longer to 3 pages. If you just want to write an introduction for this coming week's homework, by all means, just, give me an introduction that I can take a look at. And I'll put everything in Zalo that you need to know for the homework in tonight's class, okay? So thank you very much. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the discussion about that introduction, how specific or how general it should be. that I really enjoyed talking to you about that. It gives me things to think about now, right? All right. So thank you, Hyan, for all your help. Really wonderful. And Lien, thank you so much. And always a pleasure. Vuk Dukloy, thank you for coming. Henry
Thank you.
Min,
Thank you,
thanks.
teacher.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming, Henry Min. I'm just laughing. And don't be squeamish. We all eat sandworms. Okay. Poopa. They're called poopa. All right. All right. Thanks, you guys. Thanks, Tintin. Have a great spring in Germany. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.